If I could, I would screen tonight's film alongside a series of melodrama mashups from the 50s. Films like Home from the Hill, Peyton Place, and Long Hot Summer. They would all share pride of place together. Violent Saturday is not only their companion, it is their equal in many respects, fusing convention, genres and themes into a, dare I say, an ideological discussion on America to its core. Now I could tell you about the film's director, Richard Fleischer, a studio director and craftsman behind great films like Soylent Green, Vikings and The Boston Strangler. That would be sufficient. I could then talk about Victor Mature, the great 20th Century Fox face and Adonis who graced film noirs. I could tell you about Lee Marvin, who needs no introduction, but seeing as you paid your money, I may as well give it to you, who in antiquated talk is a man's man and played many tough guy roles or man on a mission roles from the 50s up to the 70s. And then I could mention Ernest Borgnine, who would win an Oscar for Marty the same year as making Violent Saturday. Don't get touchy, perfectionists or part players. This makes sense as to understanding why or how he could end up being an Amish guy. Stephen McNally, of course, is another person we could talk about. He was a heist leader and became an actor after becoming a lawyer. Same as Alex Cox. Well, Alex Cox studied law. And let's not forget Richard Egan, who plays as a playboy, but actually underlines some very interesting Keynesian economic theory here. But we'll get back to that shortly. Now, not to forget the women, I could mention Sylvia Sidney, her of Lang, that particular great Lang, You Only Live Once. I mean, she did many other films as well, but let's not forget that. She had a great voice that was like gravel, and I guess 50 fags a day will do that to you, but it was sexual in a kind of painful way. I could mention Virginia Leith, who starred in not one, but two cult favourites, The Brain That Wouldn't Die and A Kiss Before Dying. She made cult films classy, and even dated Marlon Brando. Trust a man to simplify women to sexual objects or their use via males in the relationships. But for me, it's screenwriter Sidney Baum that deserves our focus here. A former journalist and studio writer, he worked on telling truths. This film is a powerful attempt at social commentary. It's been missed very often by many different writers that he had written this and many great films that were related not only to days but also to that particular task. It's a remarkably skilled thing to do, and in this film it takes genre and tone, merges them together with subtext, and it absolutely rocks. Explosions enter us into this world, as we see on screen, but it's the message that's clear. Empires are built, they're constructed from many things, but the biggest thing is this: they're built on lies. The American, British, Persian, Ottoman, Han, Roman, etc. ad nauseum to the end of time, empires are all built on the lie. The lie is a simple thing. It goes kind of like this. Once that empire was perfect. Once it was in a state of being great. It need never change from that, and if it does change, you just take it back to that moment when it was great. You make it great again. We've heard that recently. But if we polish that veneer, as Violent Saturday does, it robs away a truth. The truth is, as Richard Egan's character points, that economics tells us that it's failed and flawed. Richard Egan's character is part of the ideology of shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves. That is, one generation makes the money, one generation runs the money, i.e. him, and then the next generation wastes it and the business folds. But that's America to the core. You see, the belief is that the Eisenhower 50s America was the peak of and pinnacle of America's greatness, but in fact it was built on a lie. It wasn't consumer capitalism that made America great. It was actually socialism and the New Deal and the fact that the Marshall Plan was inflating the value of everything. Think of that as you watch this film.